And here's the last thing. Oh my gosh. What the? Wait. 8 environments in an HG deck. What's going on, everybody? It's the Fry. So, I know it's been like 6 months since I did the last tier list. Apparently, for zombie strategy decks, we've only done part 1, and I completely neglected to do part 2. I think it's because Barry Bama put them like all together. I was planning on doing the whole thing, and then the first video took too long, so I figured I already did it. I didn't have like another tier list. Anyway, I'm going to be doing zombie strategy decks part 2, and we're going to be rating them and putting them on this fancy schmancy tier list. Last time we did the first 6 heroes, so it's going to be these 6. We're kind of going in order like Super Brain Smash, Infinity, through Brain Freeze. So today we're going to be doing the last 5 zombie heroes, starting with Brainstorm, going to Immorticia, and ending off with Huge Giganticus. Without further ado, let's rate some of these decks. There's going to be some that are going to be pretty good, and there's some that are going to be absolutely awful. My plan is, and a lot of people have been asking me this, is that in the future I'm going to do a stream. Instead of like making up my own deck, I'm going to take one of these decks, strategy decks, and play 5 games with it as is, and then for the last 5 games I'm going to fix it and try to keep to the theme of the deck, but take all the dumb cards and actually make it into a somewhat decent deck, and then play another 5 games. Seems like a lot of people want to see me do that. I'm not going to be doing that today. For today, I'm only going to be rating them. So we are going to start off with the first Professor Brainstorm deck and just go in order here. Got 25 decks to do, so let's get right into it. This is the Scientific Exploration. Zombie science has uncovered the power of equations. My gosh. All right, F tier. No. Zombot Engineer plus Gadget Scientist plus a vectored pyramid of science cards equals 0 health opponent. All right. Good card. Decent. This isn't really good with Gadget Scientist, but I think it's enough of a tempo card to justify being in a science deck. These are decent. This is, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not one of the best cards in the world of Cosmic Scientist. You do have a bonus attack. You have a decent environment, which actually combos with both bonus attack and especially with Gadget Scientist, so you can't argue with that. You got your Heart and Soul Drone Engineer. You know, Gatekeeper would be better than the Kite Flyer because it's higher stats and Bullseye, but I guess card draw is good. Guys, look. It's a science card. Look at the synergy. Look at the science synergy. There's 2 chickenings. Like, Fruitcake would be better than all these, but I guess it's okay just circumstantially. And then you have Gadget Scientist to buff your card, you know, to make your guys do bonus attacks after the buff by the Drone Engineer. Be nice if there were some sugary treats in the stack just to give your guys a little extra attack before doing the gadget, but it's okay. Worst case scenario, you can Helicopter on 6, Helicopter bonus attack on 8. Either of those plays go very well into Gadget Scientist. The stack actually isn't half bad. There are definitely way better versions because you need like harder hitting cards than Kite Flyer and stuff. Electrician is okay. There's nothing that's that stupid in this deck, so I'm actually going to give this a pretty high. I don't remember how I was rating. I don't have like a good point of reference since it's been like, I think over 6 months. I think it was like last like November, December that I did the last deck, but I'm actually going to put this in A tier, and it's not going to be an A tier deck in the game, but I think for a strategy deck, there's really actually almost no dumb cards. Wrath, there's really not, there's no super dumb cards in this deck, and I think this can actually win a lot of games. You probably could even hit Ultimate League with this deck. It's not amazing, but certainly not the holy grail of strategy decks, but for a strategy deck it's pretty good. So I'm going to put that, again, in a normal scenario I would give that B or C, but because it's a strategy deck, I'm going to be sort of rating it out of other strategy decks. I'm actually going to put that in A because I think it's decent. All right. Next is Fast and Furious. This is a Valk deck that does have 4 teleports and 4 bonus attacks. It's also got teleportation zombies, quasars, cards which are good to teleport in. It has a crap ton of card draw. Wow. And it has 2 bungee plumbers. It's got some final missions without any barrels, which is weird. So I'd have to take off a half a point for that, but you know, there are a lot of, you know, this is interesting. Tennis Champ and Final Mission, the Tennis Champ. You can even Final Mission this guy, the Quasar body. These are all pretty good cards to Final Mission. So it's not a terrible, got 4 teleports, 4 bonus attacks. Only thing this deck is really missing is Mustache Monument, but you know, you can do Valk Old School without any Mustache. In fact, this might have been made before. I don't remember what set this was made in, but this could be that Mustache Monument came out after this was created, in which case this is almost a perfect Valk deck. You also have like an extra Viking just in case you need some extra value. The only thing really missing is Barrel of Bear. I feel like if this had 4 Barrel of Deadbeards in it, and a couple other things were a little cleaner, I feel like this would be an S tier deck. Like literally, I think this is incredibly good though. I mean, you could easily hit Ultimate League. You just have to but you have a lot of card draw. Just have to get your Valks. I'm putting this in A tier. That's pretty. I wonder if I should put this in low S tier just for. I think I am. You know what? In order to be an S tier deck in this game, it would have to have the optimizations that I mentioned. But as a strategy deck, this is probably in the top like 1% of strategy decks. I'm actually putting this in S, especially if Mustache Monument came out after. I mean, this is a really, really good deck. You could easily hit Ultimate League with this thing. 4 Conmans, let's go. All right, next deck. Being optimistic today. This is pretty. Brainstorm's off to a really good start with A and S tier decks. Let's go, guys. All right, tricks of the trade. So this is going to be a trickster deck with Bungee, Teleport, only 2 Cryo Brains, which is nice. You don't want to be running 4 in a deck like this. You got bonus attacks. You got Beam Me Ups. You have, again, these, Teleportation Zombie, maybe run an extra one, but you have 4 of these barrels, which isn't bad. Barrel Fireworks is not terrible, with just Trickster. It doesn't need to be with Valk. Like, this can control things. You have some card draw. You have your removal. No fruitcake, but whatever. Rabid Worm just subscribed. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Family. And you have a Viking. This just reminds me a lot of sort of the set 1 Professor pay-to-win deck. It was just a Trickster. You're on Chickening and Barrel and Fireworks. And it just has a few other cards from Galactic Gardens kind of like sprinkled in. This is really good. This is incredible. It has the card draw. I wonder if this deck could win without Trickster. It probably could. It probably could. It would be tough to win without Trickster. I think I'm putting this in S, guys. Again, it's not an optimized Trickster deck, but for a strategy deck, maybe I'm just really optimistic. Maybe my memories of how bad strategy decks, there were plenty of them that were really bad. I'm putting this in S tier. I think this is really just the counterpart to the Valk deck, being in Professor Brainstorm and everything. I mean, you have 4 teleports, 3 bonus decks. Let's go. 4 beam. Yeah, this deck's really good. 4 bungees. Whoever made that deck at least knows somewhat what they're doing in terms of deck building. So I'm putting it in S tier, guys. All right, here comes the trend. They fired that guy. Whoever made those first 3, that guy got laid off. He didn't make the cut. Then we started getting, hey, this one's not looking that bad either. Okay, it's a Dancing Among the Stars. Professor Brainstorm's got moves. No, he doesn't. And he looks like a hillbilly scientist. He doesn't have moves. And he's hypo. He's making moves on his cousin. And he's hypo something. Hypothesized. Wow. That Disconaut binary flamenco is funkadelic. See, this used to actually be a good combo because this used to say zombies with 3 or less attack at bullseye. Now it's 2 or less. So this is the most anti-synergetic crap ever. Let's pretend this actually was the old Disconaut that was a 2/2 and said 3 or less. This is okay. I feel like there needs to be another 1-drop in this deck. I mean, maybe with summoning. Okay, it's just okay. This is a dancing zombie. Rocket. Okay. 1 environment stuck in there for some overshoot. That's all right. Disco. 4 binary. There's way too much late game. Like way too much late game in this deck. You can't run 4 binary and then 4 flamenco. It's just brick. I guess it's a Professor Dance Burn deck, though. These cards that are running are not bad. I mean, having 1 of these is not the end of the world. Wait, did I accidentally move 1 of these? What the heck? Oh, whoops, there. This isn't terrible. I can't really put this in is there anything really dumb here? I feel like there really needs to be more 1s in this deck. Especially with the flamenco and with the headhunter. That's really the problem. Even on Life of the Party or, I don't know, is there any other dancing 1-drops? that are really obvious. Maybe not. Unlife isn't great in this deck, actually. Because there's not a lot of 1-drops, but I guess maybe you'd have to add that. Conman. Some Conmans would be good just to develop that tempo. Like, you don't have to have a bunch of 1-drops for these to actually get value, but you need to, like, develop something on one. If this deck had Conman instead of, like, all the stupid cards like these and maybe take out a Flamenco and, like, 1 binary stars, I think this deck would be pretty good. For now, I'm going to just put this in B. This isn't bad. I think this can win some games, but it's not... It's especially the lack of 1-drops is kind of... And way too many 5s is just... I'll put it in B. I think it's decent, though. I think it's not completely misinformed. Next, okay. This is the one that's usually the crap. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. There's 3 blobs, 4 brain vendors, and how many nebulas? And 4 nebula. 4 nebulas. No teleports, no bonus attacks. The professor has discovered that Medulla Nebula also makes brains when zombies transform there. Play Mystery Egg or Interdimensional Zombie, nice combos, for 1 brain, then transform it for a total of 6 brains, incoming Bad Moon Rising. Like, this strategy, first of all, there's no other 1-drops that are science cards besides for Interdimensional Zombie. Like, this deck would need some Jimmy Neutrons in order to actually transform this and, like, capitalize on that value. The blob insertion, and this is... The Garg Feast is just numbskull. How is this deck going to make it to turn 11? I mean, this is not... It's going to, like, you can play this on 8... play egg and then hope it survives, and then even turn 8 it's not good enough, guys. This is not okay. 2 Garg Feasts. The main thing this deck is missing is bonus attacks and teleports. This deck could be really good. Get rid of the barrels. Just get rid of this and get rid of these leaps. Only run like 2 nebulas in this deck. 4 is way too many. And then just add in teleports and bonus attacks and you're good. I guess you have the teleportation zombie. You have 3 of them. Okay. That's definitely redeeming. Okay. Okay. You have barrel fireworks to control. I just don't see... You're not able to do anything on 1. Like, if you're running barrel fireworks, you have to have bungee plumbers in the deck just to be able to keep them off the board. Like, you're going to play this and then barrel fireworks? It's just going to be suicidal. I can't put this in F because they're actually... The ramp to Bad Moon Rising part is okay. Controlling is also okay. You just don't have... You need 4 bungees in this deck just to control turn 1. And then between that and summoning, you should be alright. These leaps are just like, what? You're leaping. What are you leaping? The Brain Vendor? The bad after the Bad Moon Rising? I guess so. Leaps also used to, like... Nebula used to give you 3, which maybe made Leaps and Nebula synergetic with these cards, so... Maybe before the nerfs. I'd say the main problem is no bungees, no real way of controlling him, and no bonus attacks. But this deck does have a few redeeming qualities. I'm going to put this in C tier. It's actually not as bad as I thought right when I saw it. Because there are some things... Because you do have at least Teleportation Zombie to help you control / activate blobs, so... Maybe it's okay. Yeah, the Garg Feast. There's just so much dumb stuff in this deck, though, that... I don't know, man. No card draw. Maybe card draw would help. Anyway, all right. That's it for Professor Brainstorm. We're going to move right along to Immorticia. Gargs Unleashed. Oh my gosh. There's 4 teleports though. All right. Let's not be too critical on just the deck from the title here. Smashing Gargantuar gives all your Gargs frenzy. Good strat, bro. While Wizard Garg gives them all bullseye. Here we go. I mean, maybe I should try this deck. Put them together and you've got a Horde of Goliaths with Frenzy Bullseye. Tricks and early blockers keep you alive early so you can play big guys later. Okay, so you have 4 teleports, no teleportation zombies. That's the first criticism. I don't think Smashing Garg is ever going to be worth it, but hey, maybe we should try this deck and actually run Smashing and Wizard together. Who knows? Maybe it'll be good. So you have Nibbles for turn 1. You're going to need some more 1-drops. I don't know about the botness, man. I don't think this is good. So you got to get rid of that and actually add like Extinction Event or like something control on 2. You have 3 Beam Me Ups. A 4th would be nice. Do you have some ramp? One bonus attack can argue this is okay environment, and this is a good removal card, and this is a good control card. So I think the deck actually has a lot of things, a lot of good things happening. This is weird. I mean, this sort of is like the same in control Zombot decks, just very unoptimized. There's only 2 Zombots, instead you're running Smashing Garg and Deep Sea Garg. But I feel like cleaning this up, maybe you should run Smashing. Maybe we should actually try the one where you're actually running Smashing and Nurse and Wizard. That would be a very cool, that would be a fun idea. I don't know how many late game Gargs you can run, but you could probably get away with running 12 Gargs. You can cut like a 2 Zombots and make it a little bit earlier. It's called Bricks Unleashed. I just feel like because there aren't 4 teleportation zombies, there's only 4 teleports, you're going to be relying too heavily on just sticking dry Gargs on the field, which is usually not a good idea. Especially because, I mean, if they have Frenzy, great, but they can just get answered way too hard and just don't... It's not like you're going to win when you put a 6 on the field. The chances of your opponent making a combo play on turn 6 that will win them the game after you've overcommitted 6 brains is a huge problem with Gargs in general. So you got to teleport them in, and then there's just not enough teleports. The way this deck is, it's not going to work, but with a few changes, this could actually have the makings of a pretty decent, you know, Amorticia control Gargs deck. I'm going to rate the deck based on what it looks like right now, and I'm going to put it in C tier. I think this could win some games. There is some good stuff happening here, but just it's not practically, this is not a reliable deck to actually win games with. All right, pump it up. Did we look at this deck the other day? Oh yeah, I played a daily with this the other day. Have you taken your vitamin Z lately? F tier. Frenzy zombies like energy drink zombie. Vampire, interstellar bounty hunters are especially good when they're pumped up, so you can run over any adversities. See, I don't know why this deck has Nebula. The thing this deck needs is hunting grounds. Again, maybe hunting grounds came out after. Okay, so you have no swimmers. You have a 1-drop. You just have a random secret agent, which is, I guess, good with this card. You have like a random Yeti here. 4 vitamin Zs. I think if you had maybe more Beam Me Ups, the vitamin Zs would be better, but you're not reliably going to have a 2-drop on the field. I mean, these are just too easy to remove with like Berry Blast and stuff. I don't know. There's not enough early game to justify vitamin Z at all. The Loudmouths are okay. You have these Vampires and 4 teleports, so maybe you can get value from that. You have Maniacal as a finisher. Okay, late game, mid to late game cards. I mean, this deck is not the worst piece of crap I've ever seen, but I don't think this actually does anything. There's not enough early game tempo to win tempo. There's not enough damage to be aggro, and it doesn't control, so it doesn't actually win ever, unless they are just feeding, you know, they're playing Shroom for 2 on turn 4, and you're able to, like, teleport this in, and then they feed another card into it, and then you bonus tag. I mean, you're going to need... The amount of games this deck is actually going to win is going to be very, very few. This is a really bad deck because it doesn't actually do anything well. It doesn't actually do anything well. This is going to be, again, this is a good card, but by the time you're done playing crap for 3 turns, really ineffectual garbage, this deck's not actually going to be able to do anything. So I'm going to put this in D tier. This is an actually really, really terrible deck. You'd have to just get perfect curves with very few options in order for this to... Oh my gosh. If you got like Chimney Sweep into exactly, you could win. But even then, it's not even the greatest strategy. Chimney Sweep into Energy Drink Zombie is just very low tier kind of crap. I'm playing in deep. Next, we got Bag of Tricks. Use Cryo Brain and Gentleman Zombies to expand your brains, letting you drop early helicopters and maniacal laughs. Finish them off with Surprise Teleport into Trickster. Okay. So running 4 Tricksters in a deck with Slocustorm. I mean, Gentlemen into these are nice if it survives. It's got to survive a 2/2 surviving on turn 4, and you've also passed. I've tried this before. Teleporting this in on 4 and then playing one of these on 5 with a 1-drop maybe would work. Then you do have teleports, no teleportation zombies. So are you playing tempo? I guess you're playing this on 1. You can always summoning and bats on 1 is always a decent play, so you're kind of covered. You have 2, which is a little bit of ramp. You can go 2 into teleport. Gentleman on 3. You also have beam me up. You can 2 into... There's one... There's just a bunch of 1-ofs, and they're terrible. Chemist, Slogostorm, Triplication. You got like 1 random Shield Crusher. You teleport, Shield Crusher, teleport. And what is Trickster? Is there enough tricks in this deck? I suppose the Tricksters are okay. It could be the Tricksters are the only redeeming quality of this deck. There are enough tricks to validate Trickster, probably. I'm not going to say justify. I'm going to say validate on that, because kind of barely. Bag of tricks, more like bag of cringe. Got him. Twitch chat is pretty clever today, I'm not going to lie. I think it's better than Pump It Up. I'm just going to stick this in C. It's pretty sad all around. You could probably win some games with this deck, though. It's just not really actually doing anything effectively. If you get Teleport Gentleman into Maniacal or Helicopter, and you also have a bonus attack in your hand next turn, I guess it's good. But that's a big if. All right. We're up to Brain Lane. Oh, no. Medulla Nebula provides extra brains, and you play zombies here. Get most out of the playing Secret Agents, Yetis. How is Secret Agent a combination with Nebula? Like, you put a guy in, you scoop it, so then you can use the Nebula next turn? It's interesting. But why? There's no swimmers in the deck. Okay, there's still only 2 Secret Agents. All right, keep reading. Get the most Yetis, Cyborg that keep the lane free to use again and again. So Yeti Nebula is a combo? Let's try to think about this, guys. How about Yeti Nebula? That you'll automatically get the Nebula next turn unless they cover it. And there's not a lot of, well... What are you going to follow it with? You're going to, like, play your second guy, or you'll play your lunchbox. I've never really considered Yetis with Nebula as a combo, because he can keep on activating it. You can ramp to, on turn 4, you can play a Brain Vendor in here and then either play Helicopter or Maniacal. I think that's okay. Cheese Cutters, decent early game. This environment does work well with the Yetis because it forces them to trade into them, which is what you want. And then you get a fresh one. This is a super 3 triplications, bro. This is a good card. Question is, what is the deck doing? I mean, there's no bonus attacks. There's no way to actually win unless you happen to get your Maniacal Laugh onto a minion and you don't have enough tempo. There's no 1-drops. Okay, so you're not really doing much on 1. Maybe you're countering something with bats or summoning. And you're not really doing anything on 2. Maybe you'll get one of these, only 6 2-drops. Then on 3, you're kind of not doing anything either. And then on 4, you can play Bounty Hunter. 3, you can play Nebula, and then combo. This deck is a freaking mess. I don't think the Yetis with the Nebula, which is the whole thing this deck is built around, is good. Really don't. Cyborg into this is interesting, though, because they have to either kill the Cyborg, hunt Nebula. I'm just wondering what you follow that. Like, what's the other card you play with it to make that good? You play Nebula. There's 6 environments in this deck, by the way. You play hunt cards plus. Is there a good 2-cost? I mean, Extinction Event. A buff card isn't good then, though. I mean, you can play another minion. Like, what if you... Well, if you play another minion, they'll just front that minion. They'll just leave the Cyborg on. I don't know, man. Look, I've never tested Yeti Nebula, so I can't say for sure, but I think this is a terrible idea. I'm just putting this in D. This doesn't make any sense. I'd be willing to try this combo, not with 4 Nebulas, but maybe find a different way to justify running Yetis and also run Nebula and kind of just see what happens. Because maybe you can just get an insane amount of value every single turn after you've invested 3 brains in the Nebula. I don't know, man. I'm willing to give it a shot, but right now, if I had to guess, I think this is going to be a piece of garbage. All right, here's the 5th Immorticia deck. Did you know that Frenzy causes bonus attacks? Yeah. Okay. Gargantuar Mime certainly got the memo. All these Frenzy zombies and bonus lets your Mime put your opponent into a very special invisible box, a coffin. How are coffins invisible? I don't understand. But anyway, you're doing nothing on one. I guess you're controlling. Okay, 4 nibbles, and if you just control mid-range. Here's your 2s are alright. You got bonuses. Is Cyborg Electrician a combo, or Energy Drink? Energy Drink actually buffs up after the gravestones get revealed. It doesn't go from left to right. Like, even if the energy drink's on the left, I feel like this would be a great combo if the energy drink being on the left would happen before the electrician pops out, but that's not how it works. All the gravestones go from left to right, and then all the end of, you know, zombie trick phase abilities will happen. What is this for? I guess there's a few uses for this in the deck. Playing Mime Garg and then thinking you're going to get a bonus attack, a frenzied attack after that, it's just not going to happen. Why would they feed you? All these cards are just going to die. If they don't kill the Mime Garg, they're going to kill the other card that has Frenzy on the field. So you play Mime Garg on 5 dry, and then you try to set up a Frenzy, man. I don't know. This looks like a terrible Mime Trickster. The Tricksters suck in this deck, too. Yeah, there's 4 Tricksters. Counting bonus attack, you have 11 tricks, not counting bonus decks, which you're not really going to end up using reliably and getting value from. You basically have seven reliable tricks in this deck. This is not good, guys. This is not good. This is not good. Thank you so much to Arms. Welcome to the family with the paid sub. Let's go. This isn't going to work. Sticking a Mime Garg and then stiffing Frenzy, it's just not good. You have to teleport this in and then do Trickster. I mean, we did teleport Mime Garg into Mustache Trickster. It's a cool combo. It's not the greatest Trickster deck, but when it works, it's incredible. This is just not. It has Tricksters and all these good cards, but there's no teleports. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is going in D. I'm sorry. This is actually not gonna work. You're not gonna be able to win games with this. The amount of times this combo, they're gonna have to have no removal and also do nothing on turn 5. They're gonna have to basically have in order for this to work, they are gonna have to just have a donut on turn 5 and just do nothing. And then maybe something good will happen. But otherwise, you're just done. You play this and they just do a Pine Clone combo. Anything. You're done, man. Anyway. No, that's not how you mime. Sorry to say. All right, we're going to Z-Mech. Let's go. Maybe some good stuff will happen. Brainstorm was great. Look at Brainstorm and then look at Morticia. That's not how you do it. All right. I feel like the Beastly decks are all just ugh. Anyway. All right. So the Sporting Unlife. Team Mascot and Zombie Coach make it good. Okay, it's going to be a sports deck. I have to read this description. Pretty good. Decent card. I've never really tried Tennis Champ, but I sort of get it. You can sometimes just stick this in front of something and get a really good cheap trade too, which is nice. Running Quasar, I can't argue with that because it's a good card. This environment's okay. You got 4 Sumos. Gladiators would be nice. You got 4. Oh, this is a pretty decent sports deck. The main thing it's missing is going viral. It's really severely missing going viral, but you do have like a coffee and a couple other late game cards. You just don't really have any ways of going face. You also don't have any removal. Like, there's no fruitcakes in this deck. I just feel like the strategy decks never have fruitcake in it because that came out like after these were made, I guess. I'm just guessing. I remember the history. This is a decent deck, but maybe that's the reason why it doesn't have going viral either. Maybe going viral came out after all this. With going virals and fruitcakes instead of some of the dumb cards in this deck, I think this could actually be pretty decent. I think you could probably even hit Ultimate League with the deck as is, honestly, because maybe the Quasards and your Lightning Bolts and your, they can give you what you need in order to start hitting face. You can out-tempo opponents. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Again, it's hard to count going viral and fruitcake as no mission because I don't know if those even existed. I think in the world this would be a B or C, but I think I'm gonna actually put this in A for a strategy deck giving it the benefit of the doubt that Fruitcake and again, Fruitcake and Going Viral didn't exist when this deck was made. So I'll give it an A just for that. That's a very benefit of the doubt A. It really should probably just be a B tier. Is that as good as the Science deck? I think it's about as good. No, it's not, because it's another way of winning. Alright, I'll put in B. Yeah, at the end of the day, without the Going Virals. Yeah, okay, I'll put in B. It's really where it deserves to be. It deserves to be. It's a dance-off at the Cone Zone. Oh my god. There's no bucket bay in the... What do you mean Cone Zone? Disconauts and Cosmic Dancers show their moves in this interstellar rave. While bonus... Who is this written for? Who did they... Is this for kids? Is this for teenagers? What demographic would think that this isn't the cringiest... While bonus track Buckethead slams the brakes on your enemy's bonus attacks. Okay. So it's a dancing deck. This is a dancing card. Dance. This one environment is okay. You're only running 2 headhunters. Are the unlifes justified? There's not enough small cards for this unlife. Unlife's not good. Really bad, actually. Oh, this is terrible. I guess you can use it as a combo with Flamenco later. It's nice to have an extra 1-drop. This only really works with 10 under and Flamenco. Maybe every once in a while I can play this and Camel Cross and get value the next turn. I don't know, man. 4 binaries. This is just such an dancing deck. Again, Conmans and stuff could actually turn this into decent tempo / burn. These bonus track Bucketheads, just way too many 4s. Yeah, it's way too many 4s. And for a dancing deck. They just shove 4 binary stars and 4 flamencos into every dancing deck, don't they? I don't like this. I don't like it, but it probably could win some games. I'm going to put this in C tier. I think that's where it deserves. Did I put the Brainstorm one in a higher tier? Why did I put the Brainstorm in B? I just want to be consistent here. This one at least had Bungie's Rocket. At least it wasn't running Unlife. I don't know. Should this be in the same tier? Am I being inconsistent here? Am I just is my just am I running out of patience just because I've done a whole bunch of strategy decks? I don't know why this would be any worse. This has the Bungies too. I guess this should be in the same tier as the other one. I don't know how this is gonna win though. I mean, your lightning bolts. If anything, this should be higher than the Brainstorm, because at least you have lightning bolts in order to activate your guys. Disco not nerf. Has too many 4s. Did the Brainstorm deck not have too many 4s though? It was a little lighter on the 4s. This does have a few more dumb cards like the bonus track Bucketheads and the Unlifes that the other deck did not have. I'm gonna go with my gut and actually keep the Brainstorm one in B and this one in C because it's too clogged. This is actually even more late game clogged than the other one, and the choice of 4s are worse. Like the other one at least had 4 headhunters in it, right? All right. That's the bottom line. Let's keep it going. Oh no. Oh no. it's a ZMAC Garg Feast deck. This is not going to be good. Okay. This is just a control, I guess. All right. Okay. One of these, you can justify one. You're running Gargologist with Black Hole. You're running some removal cards. You got the Gargologist combo on turn 3. It's pretty good. Okay. This is not a control card. This is also not a control card. What is stupid cute? Oh my gosh. This is like, well, we needed a 4. And we got a control for these Gargs coming in. Now, no, this is not okay. And you don't have anything to absorb the removal for the turn 3 Gargologist. Like some Conmen or Aerobics or something, man. You got Imp throwing Garg. You have... Here comes the Bunny. Like, Frankotar would be better than this. Why is Imp throwing Garg in this deck? My gosh. Okay, you got Want to Be Hero. And you have only 2 Garg feats. That's good. That's only redeeming quality is that they didn't run 4 of these guys. This deck is not good. It's not... All these cards suck if you don't get Gargologist. Unless you have such heavy tempo on the field that just sticking this is just such another huge problem. But you don't have any tempo. You have the worst tempo in the history of PvZ heroes. So you can control, but just sticking a bunny on a dry field is not going to help. Sticking this on a full field is a different story on turn 5. You know, but... This is not a good deck, man. This is not... It has a couple things it can do. Should I put this in D or... Oh, this deck's not going to win games. It's not gonna win games. It's not effective enough. You have to get Gargologist, Wrath into something, and then they not have any small removal. I'm playing this in D. I'm sorry. This is just not gonna work. Add in a whole bunch of other small cards and basically make this into Garg mech. And I wouldn't yell too much at the choice of Gargs. I'm always gonna be yelling at poor Stupid Cupid though. Stupid card. Anyway, next deck. Stop. At first I thought there was going to be an S here. Stop hitting yourself. Firework Zombie and Barrel of Deadbeards hits plants, but also your own teammates. This means that you get Newspaper, Garg Throwing Imp. Okay, Hippity Hop. Okay. The question is, what the heck is Genetic Experiment doing in this deck? Like, you're almost playing this on turn 1 as a control card to absorb their 1-drop, because they'll be... We play this into Barrel... It just dies for free. You play this into Gargologist. There's no time you can play this because there's no other 1-drops in this game. You're running Bucket Bay. There are so many dumb things here. Now, redeeming qualities are Quasar. This combo could work. A couple more Wraths would make this Gargologist better. I guess this is okay. I mean, if you could actually develop some tempo, some final missions maybe for the Barrel would be good. Fireworks. This anyway, even what they are doing right, they're not doing it well. Really not doing it well. And there's no black hole at least to protect your Gargologist from non-Kabloom heroes. This is a mess. This deck is a mess. I feel like going somewhere but not doing it well at all. Like really, really bad. 2, 2, 3. There might be some ways to actually win. I'll put this in C because there really might... the curve is okay. There actually might be certain hands where this would actually perform well. Getting this 1 Wrath with the Gargologist into a Garg would also be nice, but... You know, you can play 1, 2, 3. 1, 2... I don't know. This Barrel doesn't seem very good. I'll wait and see. Next, getting down to business. Think outside the box. These professional zombies are client-focused, scaling, best-of-breed core competency, eating brains, the maximum leverage with the synergy of a paradigm shift, a win-win situation. Yeah, this deck is a win-win situation right here. It's basically trick mech, professional trick mech that has barrel fireworks instead of final mission. It does have going viral. See, it looks like these decks, like the 5th one, actually can include going viral. What the heck is this doing? You're not even running Rolling Stone. Why is Landscape? Because it's a professional zombie? There's 2 cards with professional synergy, and they're not that good. There's also professional. We've got 4 Turquoise Skull. Let's go. 1 Foot Soldier. Let's go. Why are they running barrel fireworks in every deck, man? You have some... so it's like Trick Mech with no really good 1-drops other than Teacher... This is so... Zombology Teacher into barrel fireworks is the worst idea. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. I guess you're going to have to not play this like Trick Mech. Save this for the late game. So you go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This isn't actually a bad combo here. I feel like since they have to front this with a minion, you're going to... Landscaper actually gets pretty good value. 4, 5, 5. Just play all the cards that you've been hoarding. You can play 1, 2, 3, 4. After you're done play, you gotta like save the teachers till you're done play. 4, 4, 4. 4 intensifies. Maybe there's some ways to win with this. I'm just taking this in C again. It's just nothing special. Nothing special, but at least it has an okay curve. And at least it does a couple of things well. Like fossil head evolution going viral. It can also go 1, 2. It does a couple of things well, but none of them are really good. And it also has 3 going virals in it. I feel like without the going virals, it would have been in D. All right. Your mom is in D. Okay, let's go. Next is Gravedigger. Danger. It's a gravestone deck with genetic, which isn't bad as your secondary 1-drop. I can't argue with that. So you have very decent 2s. You have justifiable 3s. I don't like the high dancer, the high diver, but we'll give them a pass for that. It's really only bad when you play Mug anyway. Otherwise, it's pretty good tempo. So you have a good amount of 2s. You have Rolling Stones, good amount of 3s. You got Pogo Mug. These 5s are, I mean, this one's okay. These screen door shields are stupid, but it's not terrible. You can get a good trade from this every once in a while. Especially if they're suspecting it's like a fake, almost like a fake Pogo or surprise Garg. You got some Frenzy. I wish there was more of these because you can really, really use the Frenzy. You got Shark and this as a finisher. I guess you can move things out of the way. A little bit more removal would have been nice, but you also have Sumos late. So if you're out tempoing them, they're not going to be able to have every lane clog. This deck actually isn't that bad as a gravestone deck, I'm not going to lie. There's really nothing terrible except for the screen door shields. These having been going virals or a couple extra coffees probably would have been better, but you don't necessarily need the coffees. You have ways. You have ways. There's only 1 line dancing zombie in this deck, which I wish there was more instead of these. Like, definitely take out 2 high divers, put in line dancings. This deck actually isn't bad. It's really... If someone showed me this deck, I'd say I think you could probably hit Ultimate League with this eventually. It's not going to be the most effective deck, but because there's only a few, like, there's only really 2 really dumb cards in this deck, and then there's only like a couple of elements that are missing. I'm going to put this in A, and this, again, not A for a deck, but for a strategy deck, I think that one's actually pretty damn good. Genetic, again, I think you can put Genetic, just play it dry on 1. If it gets removed 1 for 1, it's fine, but, you know, then your Sumo, you can play on 2, or your Swashbuckler. It's not terrible to actually have that as an extra 1-drop, so I don't think it's that bad. It also is better in the late game. Like, late game, it's essentially a 1-cost 3, too, at Grows, so. All right, so here's a sports deck. Pretty good. You got your black holes. You're running Toxic Waste Imp, which is like synergy with only this card, but it's an okay 2. You can also stick it in front of things and get good trades if they don't have a removal card. You're running 4 coaches and 4 mascots. 3 of these is not too much. I would say 1 of these in a sports deck is okay. We're not running Mug. We are running 4 Pogos, which is for Neptuna Sports is great. And then you have some finishers. This is way too many Chump Champions, especially since you don't really have the cheap. You only have these 2 to really cover. So fewer Chump Champions would be good. I can justify this. Again, this deck needs going viral, but none of these early strategy decks have going viral in them, so maybe Coffee would be nice. Warlord ain't bad. This actually is not that bad. This is really not a bad. And you also have your Neptuna to fill in the superpower to fill in turn 1. This deck is not half bad. And you do have Pogo also to keep the lanes clear, so it's kind of like, instead of going viral, sort of. I don't think this is bad. This is an okay sports deck. Where did we put the ZMEX Sports? Is this one, for any reason, better? It has Pogo. I'm just going to compare this to the ZMEX Sports deck real quick. See if we can justify putting this in a higher tier. This actually has a coffee zombie in it, which probably makes it better. But the other one has 4 Pogos. 4 Pogos is better than what this deck has. Honestly, I think because of the 4 Pogos, which can actually make your cards hit face, and in general is an extremely good card. I think this one's going into A. It's too many chump champions. Is that stupid enough to make this go down a tier? No. And the black hole? The black hole is good. It's definitely better for a sports deck. I'm going to put this in A. I think this is pretty decent for a strategy deck again. It would either be high B or low A. I'll benefit that then to low. I'm feeling generous today, guys. Alright, move plants out of the way so your powerful anti-hero zombies can hit hard and fast. Later in the game, move plants into the way of your all-star zombies. You can frenzy over them. Okay, so you're not playing this on 1. You can play this on 1. Black hole on 1 and mini ninja on 2. It depends who you're up against is okay. You also have this combo. This also activates your anti-heroes. This terrifies random, but we'll give them a pass for that. You also have smoke bomb to work with your ninjas and everything. You're bouncing out of the way. There's actually a cowboy in this deck, which I like to see. Again, not the greatest 5-drop, but it actually does work with what they're trying to do here. And then you have Shark, and then this wannabe hero's random. I mean, this is the dumb card in this deck. There's not a lot of dumb stuff. The All-Stars is not great. Like, more Cowboys instead of All-Stars would easily be better, but does the deck have enough power to win games? 4 line dancing zombies? Maybe it does. You have, if this stealthy imp, if you played a black hole or something else they have to deal with early, like a mini ninja on 2, they deal with that. Stealthy imp, you can hit again with the stealthy imp with the pogo. The pogo really does add a lot of power to this deck because it makes these cards able to hit an extra time. Even line dancing on 3, pogo on 4 is a fine combo because it just keeps us alive an extra turn. 3 damage is a lot. Get rid of the wannabe and put in a rodeo. Maybe would be rodeo is a better card than wannabe. This isn't bad. This isn't bad. It doesn't have a very tight strategy, so I'm going to put it in B, but I think you could actually win some games with this. I don't think it's just going to be as reliable as the sports deck or whatever. All right. These decks are actually impressive. We have nothing in F tier yet today. We are going to find the dumb one. Okay, Return to the Grave. So it's based on mix-up Gravedigger. Destroy plants with Rolling Stone, Weed Spray, and then you playing crit, mix-up Gravedigger. Okay, so it's basically very unoptimized, Neptuna, control Neptuna, essentially. Alright. Black hole into Ice Pirate. It could be good. It's definitely a combo. This is the one really, really dumb card. Cosmic Imp is not. Where you're sticking this in Black Hole in order to get a... This is just too slow. This is not a control card. So everything else seems good. There's only 2 Pogos, which I would definitely run 2 extra Pogos instead of the 2 Medics. But we have had success with Medic Mug. You're healing your face again and again, and it can work. You got some decent control. Pretty decent. Got Weed Spray with Rolling Stone. You're only running 2 of these, but you're running 4 Warlords, which actually opens up everything in this deck. Like, you don't actually need 4 Plankwalkers if you're running 4 Warlords. I think this is okay. I'm feeling pretty optimistic today of these strategy decks, man. There's really, the only dumb thing is really the Cosmic Imps and the Medics, maybe, but, you get rid of these and you put in Line Dancing Zombies and 2 more Pogos or something like that, or some Going Virals, or... They also have Rolling Stones. This deck is really not bad, actually. I'm putting this in A tier because I'm actually really surprised that they put together a competent control deck. So I'll give them extra points for the fact that this actually looks like a control deck that can actually win games. That's very rare in these strategy decks. So all right, I'm putting in A, guys. Dark Gargoyles, Gargantuar, and Gravestones. 2 great tastes that taste great together. So it's going to be Gravestones into Gargs, Headstone Carver. There are enough Gargs to justify this. It would be really nice if they had a black hole or something, but if they can't deal with this, you'll get a lot of value. You have an okay amount of 2s. You usually want 8, but I guess with these it's fine. We're on 4 Headstone Carvers. There's not enough 3s. Should be 2 more. At least, or should be 1 more. 4s. It's all Gravestones. And then Graves. And Wannabe Hero. Get rid of this. There's no synergy in the deck, basically. It'll get stuck into the environment and then just lose health usually because you've taken face damage, but alright. No real way of like these Gargs don't have frenzy is the problem. So there's no why is there an excavator zombie when there's no environments? I'm sorry. I gotta take an entire point off for that. Why is excavate like this deck needs black hole? It would be one of the things that would make it better with its smelly zombie and black hole is like fine. Oh, there's trappers. Okay, there are 2 trappers, guys. Plus this is at least just a 4/1. Which man, this pirate synergy looks weird. It's to balance plan environments. Smashing Garg is a beastly card. There's way too many 5s and 6s too. Well, there's too many 6s. There aren't too many 5s. Like one of these should be converted into I don't even know what. Why is this in this deck? Defensive end. Just throw Gargs at them. It's fine. Everything will be okay. Is there a hardy 5-cost Garg? There isn't, right? Stomp, guys. There's synergy because this will cost 2 less if you have Gargologist in the field. I almost wish there was more Stomp, so when you have all these cards, you can actually like win the game. There isn't like a clear way of winning with this deck, unfortunately. You don't have the pogos or anything to clear lanes. That would be way better than all this garbage they're running. Okay, so too much late game, not very good choice of 1s, 2s, and 3s, and the late game strategy, even it's so overloaded, is also not very effectual. I mean, you could probably win a couple games with this here and there, and there's no real way of winning. It's between C and D. I think feeling optimistic today, so I'll put this in C. All right. Huge Giganticus. Looks like C is winning. This is looking more and more like a middle finger here. Got 5 more decks on the afternoon. What is Neptuna? It's my secret deck. I will let you know when the tournament's over. Anyway. In this environment heavy deck, Ice Pirate puts a freeze on your opponent's early game. So it's HG, you have built-in environments plus 5 extras. However, once your neutron imp lands, every environment you play is free 2 damage. There's no way of buffing the neutrons. So it's Headstone Carver into a few gravestones. It's not enough gravestones to justify Headstone Carver. You have a lot of 1s. Fire Rooster's an okay card in its own account. There's just random leap environments for this. What's the leap cards? This one. Guess he can leap Electrician, Pogo. It's a few good leap cards. I'm just trying to see if this. I mean, you have four Pogos and 3 Mugs is like very redeeming. It's gonna gain a whole point just for that because now you actually have a way to win. Like you basically just spam early game. Hope you get a good trade. I mean, I don't know when you're gonna play Ice Pirate in this deck. It's playing it on 3. Maybe you play it on 2 if you had it in. I don't even know what. But even Headstone Carver into Ice Pirate, it's a 4/2. So I guess that gives it value. 2, 3. It's kind of enough 3s. There's a Rocket together with the Pogos. You have a little bit of finisher. This deck has no synergy. There's just a bunch of random things happening. It has a little bit of, I guess, Grave and Pogo Mug. I guess 2/3 is a good combo because this is the high attack guy. These neutron imps are just flung in there. At the end of the day, this deck could probably win a lot of games just from spamming cards and then playing Pogo Mug and then playing Plankwalker. I don't know why Teleportation Zombie. What is teleport? Can someone explain why there's 3 teleportations? There's so many decks that could have used it. What is this synergizing with? Fire Rooster? Why is this here? It's a 2-cost gravestone, that's why. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna put it in I'll put it in B. This deck will probably actually win more games than these C-tier decks. Just from the couple of things it has going on. Next. I'm being very generous with the ratings today. All right, Mission Impossible. These imps may be low cost, but with Graveyard, Toxic, and Imp Commander, they are a real threat. See, it's imp spam. Ooh, you got 4 cowboys? Gain a point for that. So you're spamming imps. You have a few smoke bombs, which will be okay in general with these cards. Not just the mini ninjas. You can have a couple bonus attacks. Nothing really to add attack to your guys. I mean, Graveyard, I guess, sort of does. You're going to have to imp spam and hope they don't have an answer. You have 4 Toxic Waste Imps. So you just basically have to use your Toxic Waste Imps and your Imp Commander and your Cowboy to outvalue them. And just sort of hope that the game grinds to you getting an advantage. You really don't have anything you can do about them answering your Toxic or answering your Imp Commander. There's no way of protecting your guys. There's no teleports. That would be, you know, basically be a teleport Imp deck, which would be okay. You really do need your Cowboys for damage. These hot dog imps, oh man. There's no way to add more than 1 attack to your guys. I just don't think this deck will be very good with HE superpowers. I guess with the Imp one, it'll be okay. But like, even starting off on turn 1 with your super, maybe then spamming like 4 imps the next turn. Could be that would work. Graveyard, Cowboy is good. The Cowboy is actually not good in such a spammy deck. Like the deck where you play slower and you teleport your imps, Cowboy becomes a lot better. But if you just have full lanes, your Cowboy's not going to get a lot of value, which is actually a really, really huge fundamental problem with this deck, that you have to spam really hard the first 3 turns, and then Cowboy becomes a lot less good. It's still a great card in this deck, but it's just less good. Smoke, that's what I'm saying. You have no way of adding more than 1 attack to your guys. There's 2 ways of adding 1 attack. Is it good though? I'll put in B. I think at the end of the day, imp spam, it's not a great idea, but you can actually win a lot of games with imp spam. So it's just you're just kneeling to the matchups. Like if they have removal for your toxics and for your imp commanders, you lose. But if they don't, then you win. It's basically. But it probably does actually have a lot of good matchups. So I don't know. I'm being generous. Doctor, what? Play plenty of conjure cards with Doctor Spacetime and watch your arsenal of threats grow as you put your enemies on the ice with Frosty Mustache and Cryo Yetis. K. Yeah, K. Spacetime, you got a little conjure. Not a lot of conjure synergy, and this is not good even with Spacetime. You have Teleportation Zombie. It has some uses in this deck with the Deadly Imp and with the Spacetime. Teleports too, a lot of teleports. So it's a conjure. There's no leaps. There's no way of winning. There's no way of removing your opponent's cards. You have 2 rockets. There's no, even if you set up your Yetis, the only thing that's going to activate this is your ice environment. There's really no other way. I mean, 2 rockets, I guess, can too. I don't think this deck is going to out-tempo another deck. It's definitely not going to out-aggro anything, and it's not going to thrive in the late game with all this. I mean, with basically no late game to be seen. The Yeti is a decent card, but there's nothing to activate. With Yeti, you need some strike through, you need some pogos, you need at least some laser-based alphas, you know? Triplication Space-Time is not OP. That's not a good combo, guys. You still end up with 3 useless cards in your hand. They have a slight. They're not good once they cost 1 less, and that's a big if. A huge if. Most Gargs costing 1 less in this deck is not, I mean, I guess maybe that's a little late game. This isn't good, guys. It just doesn't have a way of winning. The overall quality of cards are both very good and then absolutely horrendous. The deck actually doesn't do anything well. It's pretty bad. I think you could probably win a couple games against really bad opponents, so I don't think it's quite going to go in F. I'm going to put that in D. This is not a good deck, guys. This is not a good deck. You'd have to... The space times would have to carry you hard, and you don't have any way of activating them. Like, laser-based alphas would make this, instead of the... I don't know. It would make this deck go a really long way. So the triplications. And there's not a lot of conjurers. It's just a couple other conjure cards. Dr. What is the perfect name for this deck? More like Dr. What the what the fudge. All right. Mustache, you a question. My gosh, I'm dying. Unlock the power of Mustache synergy with Mustache Waxer, Mustache Monument, Frosty Mustache, and Duck Stash. You'll bristle with power. Okay, so you got Mustache. A little bit of conjure synergy going on with Space Time. Just random Mustache, at least it's HG, so there are some built-in environments. This is really the dumb thing people do is they say, hey, look, there's Mustache synergy. 2 cards of Mustache synergy. 1.5. Counting Duck Stash. So I'm just going to throw a bunch of Mustache cards to a deck, and that's a good deck because it has synergy now. That's not how you... This is like the best example of how not to build a deck in PvZ Heroes. There's no pogos. You have some rockets, which is nice. There's no way to activate like this. I mean, you can set up your Mustache Monument into these 2 cards. I guess you'll get a point for that because that's not a terrible strategy, especially if you do have a Mustache Waxer developed. But there's no actual way of winning. That's the problem. Again, your ice environment staying on the field for several turns. There's synergy, but there's no way to win. Your synergy in your deck has to be, how am I going to do 20 damage to my opponent's face? Not how many times I'm going to activate Mustache Waxer and not actually do anything. This is not a good deck. And the fact this is so misinformed in terms of how to build a deck of just throwing a bunch of synergy cards in a deck, with not actually thinking, hey, I need ways to activate these cards, and actually ways of, after I gain my value, if I do, to actually capitalize on it. If one electrician, like a few more of these would have even been good, because then you can actually hit face a little bit more. And for all those reasons, it is HG. I'm gonna put this in D tier. It really it might actually deserve to be in a higher tier, but I'm doing that to make a point in how terribly this deck was actually made. And there could be a coincidence that this deck could actually win a few games here and there, but this is not. I'm rating it in terms of how well made it is, and it's terribly made. This is a 2-year-old made this deck. You literally just typed in the word Mustache and said, and then auto completed it from there, essentially. All right, and here's the last thing. Oh my gosh. What the? Wait. 8 environments in an HG deck. Play Brain Vendors and Cheap Zombies on Nebula for a quick brain boost. Then play Zomblob. There's no bonus attacks or teleports. There isn't even teleportation zombie in this deck. How is Blob good? Why is there Pot of Booty in this deck? Are you really going to even be able to get to the Mechasaur? I mean, you play this on 3. There's no other 1-drops to activate the interdimensional zombie. You play this on 4, and then on 5. Then you play this. That's not a good play. Why are there blobs in this deck? Why? Okay. There are so many environments. What are you leaping? You're leaping this card and this card, maybe. There's no... You have leaps too. Why are there leaps in this deck? Okay, you can leap and then... I'm sorry, guys. This deck is not going to win games. I mean, if they don't have an answer, you'd have to just keep leaping your 1-drops into a big card. I guess that would work, but there's no bonus attacks. There's no way to activate them. Why is Blob in this deck? This is not... There aren't anything to cover. I guess you can cover Brain Vendors. Why is this in this deck too, man? You should leap the Blob. That's a great idea. Shut up. Oh my gosh, there's 8 environments. This is the real mop package. Ramping to... I mean, you're not... If you're ramping to these, what are you doing the first few turns? You're not able to control them. There's no control. What is this? Why is there Cosmic Sign? There is so much dumb stuff in this.
Hey man, I have no clue what this is, but I like it.
Thank you so much, Volvo. Look, I'm not going to say it's impossible to win a game with this deck, because if you happen to get your interdimensional zombie, they happen to answer it, and then you play this, and then you play this, or you do the same thing with the Brain Vendor, then you start getting to 8-cost cards, or they just happen to not answer your Nebula. I mean, you play it, somehow you're not too far behind. Like, they do nothing for 4 turns, and then you play this on 4. Then on turn 5, you get a Mechasaur, or turn 6, you get a Plankwalker. I'm not going to say this deck can't win game. There's just not even enough small cards for the Bad Moon Rising in this deck. There's just not enough. This is way too expensive and dies too easily. I'm not going to say the deck can't win, but there is so much dumb stuff that we're finally, at the end of the day, this has got to go in F tier, man. This is just so... This deck is so dumb. It's trying to do something and then not doing it at all. Really. We need a leap. We need a leap. We did it, boys. We finally found the doppelganger for OTK Firefighter. This is so bad. Thank you 7 months for Fraserette. No. I don't care. You're right. In ladder we can win games with this, but it's not if it wins decks, it's a coincidence. If it wins games, it's a coincidence. I'm sorry. There's way too much crap in this deck. This is definitely going in F tier. Anyway, guys. Hope you enjoyed. That was the part 2, finally. I'm sorry about the delay. Doing part 2 of the zombie strategy decks. If you have any more creative ideas for tier list that isn't do all the super rare cards, because I've done them already. Think about it. Any creative ideas for tier list? I'm not going to do a husbando tier list. The waifu one was more than enough. Let me know in the comment section below on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly did. Peace. This is Fry.